So what's your mentality? 11 games, NBA.
Yeah, so on large slates, like I do prefer to play on FanDuel, without multi-position eligibility that kind of reduces the decisions for you. I like to try and cut out a couple games that I'm just not going to play anybody from, because I really like to correlate my plays no matter what size the slate is. So you're very rarely going to find me with a lineup that's got one play from 8 different games or 9 different games. So on these larger slates, I'll probably go to my points and pace chart and try and eliminate some of the games that do not look attractive to me, or ones that I think have a high likelihood of blowing out and guys not getting full amounts of run.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that a lot of times people get caught up in their pools are just too big. Especially even if you're playing 150 lineups, you just can't play everybody. And I think people have a hard time narrowing things down. But the best way, when I'm trying to make those tougher decisions, I look for a game. I look for who's one guy from that game, and it'll help me decide by I can pick a correlation play to that guy, and then it kind of forces you to take a stand on a couple of games, and next thing you know, you kind of narrow down the field. So it almost helps you build the rest of the lineup, because imagine if you were going to try to take one player from as many teams as possible, no more than one player per team. That would be making those decisions in one lineup would just be impossible, right? On 11 games,
so hard. And I've started to look at DFS as a seasonal thing versus a daily thing. I used to be so focused on winning this day that I'm playing, and a lot of the styles I'm developing are more about the day that it does come into play, I'm gonna win a lot more. So picking out a core, on any given day and just playing that. When that core doesn't do well, you're not doing well that day, and so it's very hard to just pick a 4-man core and build all your teams around that, but if you start thinking about it as a monthly thing or a seasonal thing, the days that core does hit, all your lineups are going to be cashing. It's going to be a good day. And I used to struggle to just lock into 4 or 5 players and build all my teams around it, because if 1 or 2 of those guys failed, then I was just gonna have a bad night overall. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's kind of where you have to start, right? On an 11-game slate, that's where you should be starting. Is what games can I kind of knock off, and is there literally nothing for me there? Because the first thing you're gonna go with is the value guys. If there's a team that's shorthanded, you're starting with the bones from that. You're starting with that team. But then the second thing you got to do is really analyze the rest of the teams and say, which one of these games do I feel I don't need anybody from, and just start hacking away. Because trying to make it, again, it's all part of reducing your pool and almost forcing you to take a stance without directly just saying, all right, so I'm just gonna play these 2 guys. No, it is a process, and like you said, Paulie, it's you approach things from if you play every day, if you're grinding every day, then you should be approaching this like you said, for the seasonal aspect, in that you should be sticking to a process. And while your process you may adapt little things here or there along the way, you need to stick to something, because you can't just keep 50-50 deciding on these yes or no things, 50-50 on. You should already have a system in mind that you're comfortable going. And these little things will make it easier for you to narrow down your pool. Ultimately, I feel that's one of the hardest things about these things. It's if I'm a new player and I can only afford to play 3 lineups today, and in a $5 contest, right? If all I can afford is $15, how am I gonna make those decisions? That's how. You have to cut off games that don't matter. Find the bones. It's not even about a core, it's the bones, right? Find a shorthanded team and find the 1 or 2 guys, or maybe even 3, and that's the bone of your build,
Yep.
You figure 2 guys from the short team plus 1 on the other side potentially, which you don't even need. That's only if the game happens to be a good game, right? But get the bones, cut off the fat, the games you don't think you have any value in or you don't need, and start to narrow it down to I like this guy. So if I like this guy from this game, he's going to have a ceiling game if somebody else from this team has a ceiling game also. And it that'll help you. That'll help you end up with a lineup that you feel comfortable with. And if you are right, you're going to get rewarded for it. If somebody could leave with like one thing, if somebody were to say like if you can give somebody one tip real quick on an 11-game slate, just one thing for somebody to like leave a conversation with you,
yeah.
What would that be?
It'd probably be cut games out that you're just going to avoid on this slate. Today specifically, it's going to be the Dallas-Indiana game and the Memphis-Boston game. And if like somebody from those games beats me, like it's okay. Like I'll live with it because tomorrow, I got another chance to make a core and that go off. It's it's not so live or die by the day. You got to balance your bankroll and the way you play for the long run, not just for today.